Okay, thanks everybody. I'm Federico Drago from the EGI Foundation. I'm the communications manager of the EOSC Beyond project, and here I'm welcoming you to our fourth official webinar, in which we're going to introduce the enhanced EOSC core capabilities for a federated future. This is part of a webinar series that we have been carrying out in EOSC Beyond over the past several months. These are some of the key achievements we have reached in these first 2 years of the project. We've contributed to the definition of the new EOSC technical architecture, and then we have these key outputs: the EOSC Core Innovation Sandbox, new services, the integration suite, and the execution framework, a network of pilot nodes that are testing our solutions, and of course, the enhanced EOSC Core capabilities, which we are going to introduce today. You can find all these links here. Don't worry, you will find all the presentations and the materials in the event page after the webinar. This is the agenda for today. After my introduction, we're going to have Kostas Koumantaros from GRNET, who's going to give an introduction about brief overview of the work carried out by the team. And then we're going to take a bit closer looks to 3 of the capabilities that we have been working on in the team with Nicolas Liampotis, Pavel Weber, and Themis Zamani. Then you will also have, of course, time for some questions at the end. Please use the Q&A box for this, not the chat. So this way it's easier for us to keep track of what happens. Of course, the webinar is being recorded, as you know, and it will be made available on the EOSC Beyond YouTube channel. Before I leave the floor to Kostas, let me just give you 2 key information about things that we are doing in EOSC Beyond. We have recently released a new concept paper about the EOSC Federation technical architecture. It already has more than 200 downloads on the EOSC Beyond community on Zenodo, and we have also accompanied it with a survey open to the community. You can reply to this survey by the 15th of July. You can find the links here. Of course, I will also add them to the chat in a second. So this is a very important contribution that you can give to our project as we enter the final year, and we can fine-tune this contribution to the EOSC Federation. And then the second thing, of course, is we welcome you to join us at EGI 2026. We're going to have a session hosted by us on the 24th of September. That's part of the public program, so you can find more information about it with the draft agenda, the content, and so on the website again. So I will paste the link in the chat in a second. And of course, we welcome you there. I just wanted to remind everybody that the early bird tickets are available until the 15th of July. So please, if you plan to join us in Ghent this September, make sure you register before that date, because this way you can save some money on your projects and your organizations. So without further ado, I thank you. And I would leave the floor to Kostas for the first introduction. Kostas, let me see if your screen works. Yeah.
Yes, give me 1 second, please. You should be able to see my screen.
Yes, all good.
Oh, good. Okay, give me 1 second. So my name is Kostas Koumantaros. I'm currently working as Work Package 9 and Work Package 8 leader, which is responsible for the evolution of the EOSC Core, as we call it. Now it's the EOSC Core Federated capabilities. And I'm delighted to present the key achievements and evolution of the EOSC Federation architecture as proposed by EOSC Beyond. As I said, EOSC Beyond Work Packages 89 are focused on enhancing the EOSC Core Federated capabilities to be more robust, interoperable, sustainable, and a coherent platform. In today's presentation, we are going to present the evolution of the architecture, not just in diagrams and slides. I'm bored to presentations that are on slides, so I will try to give a demo also how this concept works in real life, the proof of concept we have developed. We will explain the changes we did. We will explain why we think they're important, and what we did as the proof of concept, and what are we going to be doing next. Before we start, however, we need to also see the definitions, some basic definitions, so that we speak the same language. The EOSC Federation, however, defines the EOSC Federation as a network of autonomous nodes, the EOSC nodes, that interact with each other to deliver additional capabilities to users. In other words, to provide researchers with the necessary digital resources to conduct research within and across disciplines and borders according to the FAIR principles for data and open science. Obviously, in a trustworthy and secure environment driven by the scientific communities themselves. Handbook defines also a new term called Federated capabilities, which are set mechanisms that enable interoperability and collaboration between EOSC nodes. They require the participation of multiple nodes and provide federation-wide functionality that delivers value beyond capabilities and of any individual node. Examples include federated identity, access management, discovery, monitoring, service management, and distributed application deployment. And with this slide, which I have to admit I did with a lot of help from our friend, the AI tools, I wanted to demonstrate three things. That EOSC Beyond has a lot of a task or a work package dealing with one of the engineering capabilities and developing its evolution. AI and source catalogs are since last year deemed as or classified as mandatory. Helpdesk service monitoring and service management system are still recommended, but will become mandatory in 2026. For Helpdesk AI service monitoring, we'll see more in the presentations from my colleagues that follow my presentation. For the resource catalog and another two things, we'll see a few changes in my presentation here. Service accounting, research product accounting, order management, application deployment management are still, recommended and are expected to remain. Together, all these capabilities form the operational backbone of the EOSC Federation, enabling trust, scalability, and seamless cross-node collaboration. The current model that the Federation has, it calls for a hub and spoke model where all records are harvested to a central node that may become the single point of failure. We propose to move to a more federated mesh architecture where only a minimum information is kept centrally, and for the rest, we query each individual node. This new architecture strengthens decentralization, resilience, scalability, and long-term sustainability across the EOSC ecosystem. Each node is responsible for exposing its own federated capabilities and implement well-defined common specifications. This transformation is enabled by the introduction of the node registry concept, which acts as the authoritative mechanism for managing EOSC nodes and federated capabilities. In other words, an address book for nodes and their capability. In this architecture, each node acts in the node registry where there are the endpoints for other nodes, and then query each node endpoint to get the capabilities of each node. This diagram shows exactly this flow of information. The node registry architecture includes the following component, or at least at this proof of concept. The node registry itself, which is the registration authority and metadata aggregator for all the information of the nodes. The EOSC node endpoint, a service running on its node that lists its capabilities, including the endpoints of its individual capability. An EOSC node client, which is just a software client that is used just to simplify the communication between all these components. As I already said, the node endpoint lists all the capabilities of a node, where they are, and which version of the corresponding spec they speak. This allows other nodes to be able to interact with the node's capabilities in a machine action way, right? And this diagram also shows the interaction and integration between different components of the federation, the federated capabilities as we speak. Now, let's move to the bit more the live demos. This is the front page of the Federation Registry, which is also here. I'm already logged in as a manager. And let's see, and if we see here, the NIFOS Europe node, the information we keep is just simple, right? Node name, node endpoint, a persistent identifier so that it can be resolved in the future, a logo, the URL of the website behind, and description. And due to the legal obligations of the Interp group, we also have a legal entity representing the node and the legal entity website. From then onwards, we just keep a few technical contacts or admin contacts just to be able to contact the node as needed. This information populates this little list here, right? And if I refresh, you see that the demo node will disappear. That's that test I did before. And if we go back to the Federation region and create a new node, let's say demo webinar, HTTPS demo webinar, PID demo. We'll use the HTTPS. First, let me give here this URL that is valid. I need to copy something that is a logo. Here's HTTPS. GRNET here. Demo. Tempo, okay. Greece, I will use GRNET as the legal entity, which will also give me its URL. I will add, yes, it's integrated with RAW. Go at form as admin. If I click submit, it will ask me to review this entry, and I can go and simply approve it, and that will make it of this of the list of the nodes. We'll go switch back to the slides now, and we're gonna see the. Actually, I'm going to show you with Postman the results of this. If you give me 1 second. So this is the output of the node registry itself. As you see, that's has a little information. And if we click refresh now, we should be able to see at the end the demo webinar thing, the node that we created. And in a reasonable time, like around 2 minutes, if you the demo, it should also appear in the list below. It's not, we're waiting for that. Let's go and see how the federated search actually works. When a user submits the search through the nodes A federated, a search UI, which is down here, this part here, the request is sent to the resource catalog proxy, which is this little box here, and as part of the source catalog. The resource catalog proxy acts as the federated orchestration for the query to all nodes that advertise the federated search capability. To maintain an up-to-date list of participating nodes, the resource catalog proxy periodically queries the EOSC node registry, which is up here, and it is each node's capability endpoint. From these endpoints, it identifies which nodes support federated search, the capability federated search, in other words, and the corresponding search APIs. It then sends the query to all eligible nodes in parallel, aggregates the results, and enters a single unified response to the user. And if we go back, we should have now the webinar thing somewhere here. And here, as you can see, it appeared as part of this. If it doesn't have any information, if I select it, it will be just empty. So there's no actual endpoint behind it. And what we expect to have next, or to develop next, is to define the specification for all the capabilities. We have it already for monitoring, we have it already for a number of them, and the AI part. The others we are finalizing the specifications. We want to add more features to the corresponding components. We want to improve the integration among the components, and we want to validate this mesh architecture with more nodes. I deploy more nodes with all these capabilities and stress the system a bit. Overall, we are more than happy to accept feedback. This is why we have this webinar, and we will try to address as much as possible. That's the end from my side. Hope I didn't take too much time.
Thank you very much, Kostas. I think there was a raised hand in the audience, Alessandro. Was it like a real hand or like you clicked by mistake?
Ideally, I would prefer the Q&A to be at the end,
Yeah, maybe
as you
if you
see
had a
anything.
question, yeah, please add it into the box and then we can pick it up at the end. Okay, maybe it's easier. So I would call now, sorry, Nicolas. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there you are. So go ahead. The floor is yours.
Thank you. And let me share my screen. Switching to slideshow mode. Cool. So, hello everyone. I'm Nicolas Liampotis from GRNET. I'm leading the Work Package 8, Work Package 9 the activity on authentication, authorization, infrastructures. And in this webinar, I'd like to discuss the new capabilities that we developed during the initial phase of the project. So starting with the multi-factor authentication, or MFA, and the idea here is to be able to signal in a standardized way and be able to preserve strong authentication context for cross-node interactions. The second activity was about the OpenID Federation. So this is a link to what Kostas mentioned earlier about moving away from the hub and spoke model and going toward a more mesh kind of architecture. So OpenID Federation enables this scalable way of establishing trust between the node AIs. And finally, the ongoing activity on the aligned schema, which essentially provides a standard way for obtaining user and group information for services that are deployed behind different node AIs. So starting with MFA. So the main goal here is for services that require a strong authentication context to allow to support this, but important usability issue here without having the users to go through multiple MFA processes. It is important that because many identity providers already support some kind of MFA, to have a mechanism that allows the user to use their existing MFA supported by the home identity provider, assuming, of course, that this can be signaled through a standard way. We have adopted the reference MFA profile for our purposes. Then, because we know that in practice, not all home identity providers support elevating the user's authentication context to MFA, we know we want the nodes AI to be able to step in and elevate the authentication context when needed. And we need this to work also in cross-node interaction. So we use standard protocol artifacts, for example, the ACR claim in the case of OpenID Connect, so that other nodes can recognize existing MFA context and not having to request users to perform MFA. And we used for this, especially for the cross-AI flows, we use guidance provided by the ARC 029 guidelines. So here, because I don't want to bore you to death with slides, the idea is we'll have two short demos. The first one involves a single node. For our testing purposes, this involves the EGI node, which is supported by the RCM Keycloak AI solution. It might not seem very interesting at first glance because it is MFA within a single node, but the interesting aspect here is that the user selects an identity provider that supports MFA. So even though there is support for MFA at the node's AI, the user will not be required to do MFA again. The second scenario adds the cross-node flavor. So we have a service that is behind the AGI node, but the user will be using the infra CZ node. Here, to make it more versatile, the user will not select a home IDP that supports MFA. So it will be the community AI of the user at the infra check node that will do the MFA. So let me switch to my browser. I will go to a test EGI service. This service essentially allows users to obtain tokens. So it requires MFA, select login. This is the this, as we said, this involves just one node. So I will use again here EGI, and then a home IDP that supports MFA properly. So we have a test MFA for that IDP. So I'm doing single factor authentication, but because there is signaling that this access requires multi-factor authentication, I will need now to use my Google Authenticator at my home IDP. Let me see if this will work. So if I do this, so you see now my phone authenticator. I need to use here some time. I'll get so that's the name out. So this is my OTP. Paste, access, consent, and then I have a token. And if I go to Jot.io, which will allow me to inspect also the contents of the token, you can see that the ACR, so this is the authentication context reference claim that encodes MFA because I performed MFA. Okay, now the second scenario, the multi-node one, again, the same starting point. So I go to some EGI resource, but this time instead of EGI check-in, so now I'm wearing the hat of an InfraCZ user. So I'm selecting here InfraCZ. I will use GRNET. Unfortunately, GRNET does not support MFA. So even though MFA is requested by GRNET, there's no support from MFA from GRNET. And this is where the InfraCZ community AI will kick in and request me to perform MFA. So switching back to my authenticator, I will again share my screen for my phone. So I need to find InfraCZ, copy, paste, login, continue, consent. I'm back at the service. Let me get the token again, Jot.io. Decode token, and here you can see that again I have achieved the MFA, the reference profile in the ACR claim. Of course, this is a token issued through the InfraCZ node. So here my identity is from the InfraCZ user. Okay, let me switch back to the slides. So we went all through these slides. And let's go now with to the OpenID Federation. Okay, so what's the problem here? So we have a very a well-established way of federating AIs that has been working for over 15 years. This is based on SAML. SAML is fantastic, but it is basically mostly for browser-based single sign-on. But for the EOSC AI, it's not about logins. It is also about accessing APIs, using OAuth tokens, having ways to have offline access using refresh tokens. We also have machine-to-machine workflows. So we need to connect the nodes AIs using OpenID Connect. So SAML is not appropriate to support this type of federation. And of course, having all the different nodes AIs to exchange the data in a bilateral fashion cannot scale. So the solution is the OpenID Federation, which was finalized just a couple of months ago on February 2026. For our activities in EOSC Beyond, we also used a specific profile coming from the ARC guidelines, and we focused, because there are two different profiles that are defined there, we focused on the G100.1 basic profile, which essentially it's for the basic trust establishment between nodes AIs. There is also an additional profile, the fine grade 1, which is also adding the notion of trust marks that allows to express, for example, compliance with certain policy frameworks, or also support for metadata policies. So because this is something that it is not visible to for the end user, so the result of the use of OpenID Federation is that the AI operation will need basically to have less work, so that they have a scalable way to connect their AIs through task anchors. What I can show you here is, let me again go to my browser. We have a tool that will allow to explore the OpenID Federation that we have set up as the pilot for EOSC Beyond. This tool allows, requires course to be disabled. So this is just for, so, and here I will enter the URL of the trust anchor that we have deployed, the OpenID trust anchor sandbox EOSC GRNET. Okay, so this is where the different AIs need to register. So here you see that there is a list of different federation members. So let me start with this one, and this one, and this one, this one, and this one. So what is interesting here is that you see that we have different solutions. For example, there is an implementation based on the Xeon Core A platform. There is another implementation based on RCM Keycloak. There is another implementation based on Indigo EAM, another on Perun AI. So within work package 8 and 9, we have extended different software platforms that are used commonly to protect the nodes to support OpenID Federation. Now, yes, so we saw that through the OpenID Federation, the browser. And last but not least, we have the third activity, which is about this aligned data model for users and groups. We want to scheme already support some core identity attributes. Of course, in the context of EOSC and AI, we have some additional attributes. For example, the group information, affiliation information. So types of attributes that are not part of the upstream scheme attribute schema. So with this activity, we wanted to allow the AIs to expose a common model for user and group information. Something to highlight here, this is not meant to be a cross-node AI federation protocol. So this is mostly targeted to the services that are connected to their nodes AIs. But why this alignment is important? Because potentially the same software can talk to a different AI implementation, and we wouldn't want the client software to having to readapt everything just to work with a different AI. So we want to have a common scheme interface that can work across different AI implementations. And here I have we will try with two different solutions to see how this information is represented. Very briefly to show you the script. So this one will use the Unity IDM software solution. So basically, it involves using the OEDC agent tool to obtain a token. And then this token will be used against the ME endpoint. So the ME endpoint is one of the endpoints supported by Scheme that allows the authenticated user to get information about their identity. So if I run this script, I get the token. There is the call to the ME endpoint exposed by Unity, and you can see here my information. So the part that you can see before the ARC community core user schema is standard scheme. So, and then we have this extension where basically we have all the attributes under a common namespace. And there is a similar script that I have created for the Indigo EAM solution. So same thing, we use again the OEDC agent. We invoke the ME endpoint of Indigo EAM. So scheme ME EAM. So here my user, you can see that apart from the core attributes, it is interesting that in the case of Indigo EAM, there is also another custom extension. So implementations are also free to have their own extensions. But what is important, and we want to highlight here, is that there is also the ARC schema. and it encodes the information the same way, regardless of, now this is Indigo EAM, but we have the same attributes also coming from Unity. So this is why this schema alignment process is important. And with that, I don't have anything else. I can wait for the Q&A section at the end if you have any questions.
Thank you, Nicolas. And if you have any questions, yes, please write them into the Q&A box. Next up is Pavel Weber from KIT.
Hello, everyone. Let me share my screen. I'm Pavel Weber. I'm working at KIT, and I'm responsible for delivery of the Helpdesk in EOSC Beyond project and in other projects. And today, I would like to describe only two topics to be concise. So the first is the activities, the Federated Helpdesk for the EOSC Federation, and namely new capabilities for the EOSC Beyond Helpdesk. So starting with first topic, first activity, which is Federated Helpdesk. So this activity tries to answer the question how support works across the EOSC Federation of independent nodes. And here, to continue, I would like to provide the definition of federating capability according to the EOSC Federation Handbook. So the objective of this capability is to integrate the help desk of the EOSC nodes within the EOSC Federation to provide federated support channel between users and providers from nodes. So this gives us a direction for this activity. And EOSC Beyond project is contributing to this activity in collaboration with EOSC United and EOSC Federation. And we focus now, so this activity started in spring, so we focused on definition of the architecture, technical integration, operational procedures, and Federation support unit, which is quite important pillar for foundation of the Federated Helpdesk, and that's why I would like to say a few words explicitly. What is that? So because this is a new term we defined, and so the Federation Support Unit is the rotating group of agents across Federation nodes, which handles cases that normal process cannot resolve. And these are wrong assignments. So when the ticket is assigned to the wrong node, service gap candidate, so the ticket is assigned to some node which doesn't have a particular service, or services absent in the whole federation. Ownership dispute, so the nodes cannot decide who should basically take care of the request from the user. Federation scope is that request is at the federation level, so the nodes cannot basically answer it, cannot process it. And the escalation when the ticket is stuck at some node. So, and in this Federation Support Unit, we consider to have our on-duty crew, which oversees all these edge cases that nodes cannot resolve. So the Federation Support Unit is not first-line support for the Federation, because we avoid to have a central unit, a central entry point. So as Kostas presented, it's a distributed system. So this is supposed to be internal coordination unit, which handles the exceptions, and nodes handle the work. So with this definition, I would like to go to my next slide, which defines the target architecture. So we have a number of nodes interconnected to each other, also connected to the FSU, so Federated Support Unit Helpdesk, which basically coordinates this federated support channel. So, and it has several functions. So this is what I mentioned already. Also do some triage if the tickets are sort of lost in the, or assigned in the wrong way. Yes, but this is a quite challenging goal to achieve. So we decided to go in basically 3 steps. So we defined the 3 phases. So the first phase, we start with a simple email integration of all the nodes to the FSU helpdesk and establishing the rotating duty crew for FSU. In the second phase, we enhance this setup and also provide the cross-node integration, not only integration to the FSU helpdesk and include remaining nodes. And finally, we come to the full synchronization across all the nodes. So FSU unit becomes basically uniform and synchronized across all the help desks and also with FSU help desk. So at this stage, the integration will be achieved by using the integration layer provided by Argo messaging system, which is delivered by GRNET. And so this basically will provide us this target. So we will achieve this target architecture. So that's it for Federated Helpdesk. And now I want to move to the new capabilities in the EOSC Beyond Helpdesk. And apart from many capabilities we implemented recently, the most interesting are AI features. And I would like to mention only the most prominent features. It's a smart article summary, which provides the AI-generated summary for long tickets, so the agent can easily get the context without scrolling all the ticket from the beginning. Then AI writing assistant, which basically helps the agent to rewrite, improve the text, and AI triage and ticket resolution, which provides the automatic classification, automatic routing of the incoming tickets, and also possible resolution. So at this point, I would like to mention that all AI features in the help desk rely on the KIT AI infrastructure, so data never leaves premises. We don't use any cloud models, so we use the local models running at our GPU cluster at KIT. And this is the demonstration of the AI summary and writing assistant. So on each ticket, there is a special AI summary page. So when you click, you will see the summary, like a custom intent, conversation summary, and open tickets, and also customer sentiment. And also, the next feature is AI writing assistant. So it triggered by the copying the text, and then in pop-up menu, you can choose the option you would like to apply. And the last feature I would like to describe is AI triage and ticket resolution. So for this feature, we developed a multi-tenant system to support also other help desks. So this system could basically serve multiple help desks. Each help desk relies on its own data source. So far, this is of course tickets and knowledge base, which is again for now, because this is a recent development, is the PDF and text data, which are ingested and embedded in the vector database and Elasticsearch, and then used by the RAG system, retrieval augmented generation, and provided as a context to LLM, which we are using here. So this Mistral model currently. And the data are isolated by design, and we can also apply any other model we have on our list internal infrastructure. So, and this system is being actively developed. So I would like to demonstrate this last feature, because I think the AI summary and assistant is very trivial. So here, this is how it works. You start to write some ticket, for example, Helpdesk evolution in EOSC. Describe the Helpdesk evolution in EOSC Federation, and then okay, put my name, and then you see here triage button, and when you click, the system is connected to the AI and providing the information about basically the help desk, about the group which it should be assigned, and similar tickets. So for now, the similar tickets are not really something which makes sense, because the Beyond Helpdesk has very small amount of tickets. And when I assign the ticket, so then it's basically assigned to this Helpdesk, and if I create it, I still can access this AI interface. And okay, this is namely the summary of this ticket. And here in the main menu, I have still this triage button, which provides also the help when the ticket is not only at the beginning, but also in the further phase. For example, there is internal information for the agent and the information which can be provided to the customer with the resolution. So which basically defines the three phases, what I described. So this is basically based on the documents which are now uploaded in the knowledge base, as I described in the this backend multi-tenant system. So here there is this summary, and then I can basically apply this information as a customer reply. So I just press one button and submit it. So the customer basically receives the answer generated by LLM. So that is what I wanted to show, and this is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pavel. Very interesting as well. Okay, so as I call the last speaker, Themis Zamani, I invite you to add any questions you might have in the Q&A box, so that then when she's finished, we can then go and address them directly. Themis, are you online?
Yes, I'm trying to find the
Okay.
entire screen, I suppose I would say. Screen. And sorry
Yes,
for
it's
this.
working now.
I'm trying to find the presentation. One moment, I will find the presentation and I will be share. And can you see the presentation full screen?
Yes.
Yep, perfect.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm Themis Zamani. I'm from GRNET. I'm the head of the implementation unit at the European Infrastructure and Project Directorate. And in the EOSC Beyond project, I'm responsible for the monitoring service, and I'm going to present you the new capabilities of the monitoring service on behalf of the team of all the people in our team. So many of you are already familiar with the service, or you may have heard the presentation about it in the past. And this is usually the first slide that we have. It's the monitoring service. It's, let's say, an established and mature service in the infrastructure and the EOSC ecosystem. And it is the main service in the EOSC Beyond project. What makes this service distinct? It is the core philosophy that we follow. We don't check if a server is plugged in or if a port is open. By doing this, we will miss the actual user experience. Instead, we focus on the user perspectives. The service is designed to actively emulate the user behavior. It is constantly simulates the actual steps a researcher takes, for example, saving a metadata set, deleting a record from a service, things that he's doing in his day life. So by doing this continuously, the monitoring service cuts functional and application level errors that other monitoring tools miss. And we give to service providers a realistic view of their actual service health. This is done with cooperation with, of course, the service providers. We're not the ones that we're doing all the job. By emulating users and constantly monitoring these services, the monitoring service provides a set of outputs, real-time status reports, availability, reliability reports, performance reports. You can create your own custom reports. Usually, if you have a service and is monitoring by us, you are receiving real-time alerts. You can see trends. We support SLAs, service levels agreements, and of course, the last feature that we had in the previous, the last feature that we had is a status page where you can create a view for your end users to see if your infrastructure is the status of your infrastructure. So the process that we followed until now was that sometimes after a presentation, let's say like this, or a discussion with someone, we had the question or someone raised his hand in the presentation that I like it, I want to start using it, and what should I do? And for a long until now, let's say our answer was simple. He was sending an email to us, and we will inform the customer when the process starts, and the monitoring service is initiated for you. Behind that simple answer, an operational complexity was hidden. And supporting this single new customer required coordinating of 11 different tasks, 7 separate components, because you may see a UI, but behind the scenes there are 7 different components that support the monitoring service. And get in touch with 5 different people in the team to start deploying the different components. Because of these interdependencies, the manual process could take from a few hours to up to 1 week. And eventually, the work was done, and the customer was the monitoring box was there, and the customer was receiving a functional UI to start having a look in the status, availability, reliability, and the other reports of the services. At the same time, the EOSC is evolving, and the Federation is discussing about the EOSC monitoring capability. And it is expected to be mandatory by the end of the 2026. So we needed to find a better and faster and more transparent way to start deploying instances of the monitoring service for the new clients. We want to support the new incomers. We want to scale out to gain time and to avoid possible errors at the beginning of the deployment of the service. So as of today, let's say, we have built a new unified monitoring service where it is one single place to easily manage the entire components of it. We automated the customer provisioning process, and we automated the process of deploying the service without any manual work in place. You just click the create button and the deployment starts, and we get informed what everything is finalized. By the time the tenant, let's say the instance of the monitoring service for the customer is provisioned, the customer with specific permissions can handle everything themselves instantly, and they can they have new functionalities like dashboards, topologies, status pages, capabilities. They can also manage their members in different groups and give them specific actions to do. And you can have a live status of the infrastructure. This is what I'm going to present in a real demo. We're going to see how the automation works, the information in the dashboards, which is divided in three different rows with specific information about different types of monitoring services. About the topology, until now we had an external service that we were using for topology. Now it is something that is developed inside the monitoring service if someone doesn't have its own system, and also has a number of external integration with other external known services. We're going to see this. We also have the feature of the status page, which until today was something that we were discussing with the clients to use it, but now you can you can log into the system and create your own. The monitoring capability, which is the idea that is not the idea, it's something derived from the handbook, the version 2, and the monitoring federated capability will be required by the end of this year. So we created a solution for nodes that wants to offer this capability. We're going to see also the members and how we're organizing them in how we can invite, add them, or put them in specific groups to have specific so that we can give them the opportunity to have specific actions. Apart from these functionalities, the last few months we managed to, in order to achieve all these things, we managed to finalize 3 different integrations. The first one is the integration with the messaging service of the project. The messaging service acts as a central communication party that helps us with the automation of the deployment of the monitoring service. The AI integration, which we're using what Nicolas presented earlier, the service that Nicolas presented, and we integrated our service with to use the certification, authorization features and the group management that is offering. And the last one is the integration with the service catalog, where we integrated the list of services that are available in the service catalog in order to start monitoring the service. Before I do the demo, I would like to say you a few things about what is our future developments. First of all, we want to create more reports and more views so that everyone is, so that we support multiple reports about status, availability, trends, uptime, performance, and everything that the providers need so that they can know exactly what is going on with their services. We're thinking of offering the incident management, which is a process used by the organization to identify, analyze, and resolve unplanned events. We're going to add more metrics in the monitoring capability, expose more service metrics under the monitoring capability with filters and search capability enabled. And last but not least, one of our main focuses will be to integrate with the node registry, with which this service will have the list of all available nodes and the services they have. So the idea is that we want to automatically start monitoring the different nodes and the services they have based, of course, if the nodes want to do that. So that's the main features that future developments that we have in mind. And now I'm going to proceed with the demo. I will start, I will be working through the monitoring service, first of all, as an, let's say, super admin. Here is the super admin. As a super admin, so that we can view all the different functionalities that we offer in the Argo monitoring service. And then we will quickly look at more restricted views and actions available to an owner of a tenant admin, let's say, And another type of user, which is the tenant viewer, which can only see what is happening in the tenant and the information it contains. First of all, we have the dashboard. It's the first view that everyone. This is a test tenant so that we can display all the functionalities. We also have, we are going to see the EOSC Beyond tenant, and we have a Note tenant, which is the Sesda one, and we are going to display the different functionalities that we offer to Notes. So let's start with the dashboard. The dashboard is designed for high visibility, and it is divided in different layers. A top-level alert banner, which displays immediate and high priority notification regarding severe, let's say, infrastructure disturbances. Here, for example, we have a degraded service, which is an example service, and it has error, shows the owner of the service should have a look at this service. Right below the top banner, we have the real-time operational summary, what is happening this week. The tenant is new. We have information from him since Friday. So for today, we have 100% availability. We can see what is happening the last 5 days. And we can see the average value of the availability of this week. Below this row, this is the week, and here we have also the information about the tenant, sorry for that, which is the tenant status, which is degraded. We have 4 services in this tenant. 3 of them are okay. 1 of them is in a degraded status, and 0 are critical. So everything is working perfectly, and the availability for today is 100%. Then we have the tenant-wide availability, and last but not least, we have a table with all the services that we have in this tenant, and you can see the status, the availability of the week, and what is happening the last few days per day in these services. You can also, we have some tabs here with all the healthy services and the services that they have some problems. The second tab is the overview. It is used mainly for operations. It's the main information of the tenant. It's the test, it's the type of topology used, who can contact if I have a problem. Here you can see the automation part. You can see the different states that when I'm deploying the component, the different states of the components and the successful message. If there is an error, what happened during the deployment, and when this happened. Apart from this, we have the readiness of the data. We need different types of information in order to start the monitoring service and compute results. So we have to check if all this information is available. One of the new information that we have, the new features that we have is, as already mentioned, the topology, which is the map of the services you have in your infrastructure. The first step in order to enable the topology is to select the different type of topology that you have. As already mentioned, we have integrated lots of different external components. We have an internal service that you can use, but of course, we also have some external and simple CSV. The service catalog, and of course, we were in discussions with the NFDI node, and we are implementing, we have integrated the list of services they have in their marketplace. Here you can add your endpoints, you can organize them in a group, and you can see this information is depicted in the dashboard. One other thing is the status pages, which is a well-known service used by most infrastructures. It's the view of your infrastructure. You can configure it. You can put the items. You can create your own page. You can select the items that you want to display, and of course, you can select the way you want your status page to be displayed. The icons. You can group the services in different groups. You can have multiple columns and things like that. And when you're finished, you can save and start seeing the information in a public view. I'm trying to be quick because I have 1 or 2 more minutes. The reports is something that we use in the operation. It is internal. This is a feature that is offered mainly to nodes. If you are a node and you want to tick the list of obligations, what you have to do for based on the handbook, you need this. This is the monitoring capability. You select the report and you enable your node status, and you're getting the metrics for your services as defined in the handbook, the availability and the status currently, and the uptime and performance will follow. There is also a public page for this here, for example, where you can see how it is displayed for others in order to start using it. It is an API, of course, because it has lots of information about your services and the status and the availability of your services. There is also a way to get credentials to get the actual information and detailed documentation on how to do it. Last but not least is the members, where you can invite members. I'm a super admin, that's why I can add member. And there are also, here is the list of invitation for this feature. Now, if this is as a super admin, I will go quick. Here I am a viewer for EOSC Beyond. I can see the dashboard of EOSC Beyond. I can see the overview and the status and the readiness of their data. And here I can only view the group of the status of my services are created, the group of the services I've created, and my invitation as a person. I'm finished.
The view is stuck. We still see the super admin one.
Oh, why? I will stop and yeah. Sorry? I'm sharing the full screen. Yeah, that's what I did. Can you see now?
Yes, it's correct now.
Okay.
Thanks.
So you can see that we have less functionalities here, the dashboard, the overview, the status, and the reports. And as SESDA, I'm a tenant admin. I can see the dashboard. I can create a status page. I can see the capabilities. So these are the main new features that we have in the monitoring service. If you have any questions, we can discuss it now. I think there's another presentation, right?
Yes, that's the last one. Thank you, Themis. Okay, so well, thanks to all of our speakers. I've seen there was already some movement in the Q&A box with some questions. Yeah, if you want, guys, you can all turn on your cameras. So, sorry, we're a bit late, but we have some minutes. I mean, if you want to stay a bit longer and we can answer to these questions. I think there was one which was already answered, but maybe we can just confirm for the recording. So there was this question from John to Kostas about the EOSC Federating Capabilities slide. So he was asking, when will the recommended services become mandatory in 2026? So Kostas, just for the benefit of the recording.
Just for the benefit of the recording, I would just reiterate what I wrote also in in essence, if they are mandatory already, we've done already a webinar towards the node operators. They are well informed. There is a survey online. I will answer also the question about how many nodes. About half of them, or some, if I remember correctly, something like 4 or 5 nodes, they are requesting monitoring as a service. It is depending from who will provide this monitoring as a service. Only 3 or 4 of them out of the 17 in total have something in place and they want to integrate with monitoring. Others are contemplating, and all of them are curious about sustainability of the monitoring service, because Beyond will end in April to next year. And they're curious what will happen after Beyond or Beyond.
Sustainability.
So sustainability is a big question that needs to be answered. That's the pending thing. And also the EU note is also ending by February next year. So we'll have a new EU node that's also not sustainable enough. In general, the question is how, what, and what it is. What the monitoring team is currently doing is define the specification how you can interact and how you what are the capabilities and what are the specs of these capabilities and how you can share them so that they understand this and people can offer their own solutions. But the other question I asked is that if they need to share, according to the handbook on page 30, if I just looked, it says that they are responsible to share information with other nodes as needed. So they need to be ready for this.
Okay, thank you.
And in general, to finalize the question, I expect that there will be a working group set up from either one individual from one for Helpdesk or one that covers both of the build-up phase. This is still pending on discussions and decisions happening at the Node Operators Committee. I not completely destroying the acronym. But I expect that this to soon happen. Right? Now we know that things are supposed to move fast, but we know that we understand the complexity and where everybody stands.
Okay, thank you. Again, also this one for the benefit of the recording. So this one was for Nicolas. So from Mario about the AI integration of the monitoring. Could you mention with AI service, have you integrated and which groups and roles management tool and policy was used? So I think Nicolas already replied, but just to record it as well.
Yes, so the monitoring has been integrated with the EOSC Sandbox infrastructure proxy. This is based on RCM, which uses a fork of Keycloak. And particularly for group management, there is an extension which is also part of the RCM open source suite, because we need extensions for the interoperability, for example, to express entitlements in an ARC-compatible way, etc.
Thanks. I think there is only this one as of the moment, which is still to be replied. So this one is about the AI and SAML. So do you know if the current nodes via the NCC, I guess, have agreed on a transitional period to migrate from the SAML to OpenID?
No, there is. I mean, in the latest version of the EOSC architecture, OpenID Connect has been acknowledged as a way forward for the Federation, but there is no exact timeline yet. And perhaps one clarification: currently, the current EOSC Federation model that is already in production is not based on SAML. So because of the importance of all these OpenID Connect and OAuth2 flows, essentially, to make it work in practice, it follows a hub and spoke OpenID Connect model where there is one AI service at the center. So the idea is that once also the operational tools for OpenID mature, and also the implementations also add support for more advanced features like the trust marks or the policies that I mentioned earlier, then we will be ready to move towards the OpenID Federation approach for the federating the nodes AIs.
Okay, thanks. So there are no further questions in the Q&A box, but I'll see someone, exactly Alan, just raised his hand, so I'll allow you to talk.
Hi. So just a general question regarding these core services. So CESDA basically, after the project stops, we don't have yet some strict plans about becoming a node, becoming a part of the node, etc. So what are the chances of being able to use all these integrations, because we have integrated the IDP, for example, Helpdesk, monitoring. Is it possible for us to continue to use these services, or with the project end, this will stop functioning? Because, for example, for IDP, we use some services and we integrate it with idea we are using this kind of.
I can respond to this
Yeah.
if you want.
Mhm.
In general, EOSC Beyond service will be maintained afterwards, and there's going to be a EOSC mesh that will pick up the slack for a number of them. So I expect that there's going to be some continuity, at least for pilot nodes, not production early nodes, to experiment with technology and the evolution of technologies for all these services. At least as far as GRNET is concerned, which involves AI monitoring, accounting, and messaging and PIDs, those continue within the EOSC Mesh project that starts in the 1st of September. So for the next 3 years after that, you would still have support or be able to maintain pilot monitoring or AI or whatever is needed. If you want to move into production, we need to come up with a different agreement has to support it. And this is part of the work that needs to happen also in Beyond, but it will also be continued during the EOSC Mesh to find this sustainability path for these kind of projects.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
And just for completeness for Helpdesk is the same. I mean, I just can underline what Kostas said.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I've briefly seen like a hand from Carlo. I don't know if you still want to ask the question or you went for lunch probably. Okay, I think okay, I guess we've covered all the questions. So thanks everybody. It was a really useful webinar also for me to understand like all the details that come from the work package. And yes, as I was saying in the chat, so we invite you to join us in Ghent this September. We will be at TGI 2026 to present some of these outputs. As I was saying, the early bird ticket finishes on the 15th of July, so please make sure that you get your ticket before that date, and we'll see you there. So you will find the recording and the slides on the event page in the next couple of days. And of course, I mean, feel free to follow us on social media, on the newsletter and so on. And thanks again to the Work Package 9 team. See you soon.
Thank you.
Miguel.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Wait.
Bye, everyone.
Miguel?
Bye.
Miguel, is it a hand or a goodbye?
Just goodbye. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, guys. See you
Bye.
soon.
I was going to
Bye.
clap,
Bye.
but there was no clapping.
Bye.